You know what? I'm done staying quiet about this. Drew McIntyre just crossed a line that can never be uncrossed. And if you think burning a photo of Cody Rhodes' late father was the end of this story, you haven't been paying attention. Because what happened on Smackdown this week wasn't just shocking, it was nuclear. And the man who delivered the retribution? Someone nobody saw coming. Drop your thoughts in the comments right now. Was Oba Femi justified in what he did, or did he go too far? Because what you're about to see is going to divide the WWE Universe straight down the middle. Let's rewind for those of you who somehow missed the most disrespectful, disgusting, career-defining moment in recent WWE history. Drew McIntyre, the so-called Scottish warrior, the man who claims to fight with honor, took a photograph of the legendary Dusty Rhodes, Cody's father, the American Dream himself, and set it on fire. Not in some backstage segment, not in a promo package, right there in front of millions watching around the world. He looked into the camera, held up that picture of a man who can't defend himself, a man who passed away in 2015, and burned it like it was nothing. Now, I don't care what side of the Cody-Drew rivalry you're on. I don't care if you think Cody's a hero or you think he's WWE's golden boy who gets everything handed to him. What Drew did wasn't heel heat. It wasn't good storytelling. It was personal. It was vile. And it sent shockwaves through the entire locker room. But here's where it gets interesting. Because while everyone expected Cody to come out swinging, while everyone thought Roman Reigns might have something to say, while the entire WWE Universe was waiting for someone to put Drew in his place, the answer came from the most unexpected source imaginable: Oba Femi. NXT's most dominant force, the ring general of the developmental brand, the man who's been running through everyone in his path like they're nothing. And suddenly, without warning, without build-up, without anyone seeing it coming, Oba Femi showed up on Smackdown and absolutely annihilated Drew McIntyre. Now, you're probably asking yourself, why? Why would Oba Femi, an NXT superstar, involve himself in main roster business? Why would he care about what Drew did to Cody? And that is exactly what makes this story so compelling, so layered, so much deeper than just another beatdown. According to multiple reports and what we saw unfold, Oba Femi didn't just attack Drew McIntyre backstage. He didn't jump him during a match. No, this was calculated. This was purposeful. This was a statement that echoed through every hallway in the arena. Drew was cutting a promo, probably gloating about what he'd done, probably soaking in the heat from the crowd, when the lights flickered. And that's when we heard it, that menacing theme music that's become synonymous with destruction in NXT. The crowd erupted because they knew what was coming, but they couldn't believe it was actually happening. Oba Femi walked out onto that stage like a force of nature, 6'5", 270 pounds of pure intimidation. And the look on Drew McIntyre's face? Priceless. Because for the first time in months, Drew looked shook. He looked like he just realized he'd made a mistake he couldn't take back. Oba grabbed a microphone, and what he said next is going to be replayed for years. He said, "Drew, you claim to be a warrior. You claim to fight with honor. But what you did to that photograph, what you did to Dusty Rhodes' memory, proves you're nothing but a coward who hides behind shock value because you can't get over on talent alone." The crowd went insane, and before Drew could even respond, Oba rushed the ring. What happened next was nothing short of a mauling. Oba Femi didn't just beat down Drew McIntyre, he destroyed him. Every move was stiff, every strike was personal, every moment was designed to send a message. Disrespect legacy, and you'll pay the price. Oba hit Drew with a powerbomb that shook the entire ring. He followed it up with his signature standing moonsault that left Drew gasping for air. Security tried to intervene, but Oba threw them off like they were children. This wasn't about following the rules. This was about justice. And here's the twist that nobody's talking about enough. Oba Femi pulled out a photograph from his jacket. Not just any photograph, a picture of Dusty Rhodes with a young Oba Femi from years ago at an NXT training session. Dusty, in his final years, was known for mentoring the young talent, for giving advice, for being the heart and soul of NXT before he passed. Oba held up that photograph, pointed at Drew, and said 4 words that will haunt the Scottish warrior. He believed in me. And that is when everything clicked. This wasn't just about Cody Rhodes. This wasn't just about main roster versus NXT. This was personal for Oba Femi. Dusty Rhodes wasn't just Cody's father. He was a mentor to countless wrestlers in NXT, including Oba. He was the man who told these young talents they had what it takes. He was the dream that made other dreams possible. When Drew burned that photograph, he didn't just disrespect Cody's father. He disrespected everyone Dusty ever touched, everyone he ever inspired, everyone who carries a piece of the American dream with them into that ring every single night. Oba Femi represented something bigger than himself in that moment. He represented every NXT wrestler who was mentored by Dusty. He represented the lineage of respect that wrestling is built on, and he made it crystal clear that actions have consequences. Now, the WWE Universe is divided. Half the fans are celebrating Oba Femi as a hero who stood up for what's right. The other half are questioning whether he had the right to insert himself in main roster business, whether he jumped the line, whether this was his place. And you know what? Good. That's exactly the kind of debate that makes wrestling must-see television, because there's no clear answer. Both sides have valid points, and that's what's going to keep people talking about this for weeks, maybe months to come. Drew McIntyre? He's been suspiciously quiet since the attack. No tweets, no interviews, no responses. Either he's plotting his revenge, or he knows he stepped over a line he shouldn't have crossed. Cody Rhodes released a statement thanking Oba for standing up, but also making it clear that his fight with Drew is far from over. This isn't about someone else fighting his battles. This is about a unified front against disrespect. But here's what I think is the real story everyone's missing. Oba Femi just announced himself to the world. He's no longer just an NXT champion. He's no longer just a developmental talent. He just walked onto Smackdown, one of WWE's flagship shows, and made everyone pay attention. This could be the beginning of Oba's main roster run. This could be the launching point for one of the biggest stars WWE has seen in years. Because think about it, when was the last time an NXT wrestler made this big of an impact on the main roster? When was the last time someone forced their way into the conversation like this? Triple H has to be smiling backstage because he just saw his NXT investment pay off in the biggest way possible. And if you don't think this was planned at some level, you're not paying attention to how masterfully WWE has been weaving storylines between brands. So where do we go from here? Does Oba Femi get called up permanently? Does Drew McIntyre seek revenge? Does this turn into a three-way feud between Drew, Cody, and Oba? Does the locker room choose sides? The possibilities are endless. And that is why wrestling is the greatest form of entertainment on the planet. Because we don't know what happens next, we can only speculate, debate, and wait for the next episode to blow our minds all over again. Listen, WrestleScope Nation, I need to hear from you on this one. Was Oba Femi justified in destroying Drew McIntyre? Did Drew deserve everything he got for burning that photograph? Or did Oba cross the line by inserting himself into business that wasn't his? Drop your hottest takes in the comments below because I'm reading every single one. And if you think this video deserves more attention, if you think more people need to understand the depth of what just happened, smash that like button like Oba Femi smashed Drew McIntyre. Hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell because WrestleScope is your home for the most in-depth, hard-hitting wrestling analysis on YouTube. We don't just report the news, we break down why it matters. Share this video with every wrestling fan you know who need to understand that what happened on Smackdown wasn't just a beatdown, it was a moment that's going to reshape the WWE Universe for years to come. This is WrestleScope, where we see wrestling differently. And trust me, after what Oba Femi just did, everyone is going to be seeing WWE differently too. I'll see you in the next one. Stay scoped in.